Hi there, welcome to the first video in our series, Carbon Clarity, Your Path to Carbon Accounting Confidence. If you're here, you're probably wondering, where do I even start with my carbon accounting? But don't worry, this webinar series has you covered. Over the next few minutes, we'll walk through the very first step, understanding what emissions data you're collecting and then getting a clearer picture of your company's structure, operations and approach to carbon accounting. Think of it as building a strong foundation. If you get this right, the rest of your journey will be much smoother. Let's dive in. Understanding your emissions data. Carbon emissions are divided into 3 scopes. Scope 1, direct emissions from your sources your company owns or controls, like company vehicles, fuel combustion, or machinery on site. Scope 2 emissions are indirect emissions from the energy you purchase, like electricity, heating, or cooling. Scope 3, and this is the big one, all other indirect emissions in your value chain. This includes your suppliers, business travel, employee commuting, and even the way your products are used and disposed of. But why does this matter? Because understanding your biggest emission sources helps you prioritize action. What are your biggest emission contributors and what can your company do to reduce them? For example, if most of your footprint is from Scope 3, you'll want to focus on supplier engagement, logistics efficiency, and sustainable procurement. If your office energy use is high, switching to renewable energy providers or improving your current energy efficiency will be a quick win. And this is where your carbon accounting software comes in handy. It helps break down those numbers, making it easier to spot where changes will have the biggest impact. Deciding on a control approach. Alright, time for a slightly more technical but super important decision. What control approach should you use to account for your carbon emissions? You have some options here. The first one is operational control. You report emissions from locations where your company sets the policies. This is the most common choice because it's quite straightforward. Financial control is when you report emissions from locations where your company owns a majority of financial interest. This approach works well for acquisition-heavy businesses, but it is less common. Equity share approach is when you report emissions based on your ownership percentage. Great for joint ventures or partnerships. My advice, have a quick chat with your finance or legal team. The right approach depends on your business model and reporting goals, so they'll help you make the best call. Understanding your company's structure. Before we start measuring emissions, we need to figure out what we're measuring. Here are a few key questions to ask yourself at the beginning of the process. Where are your offices or facilities located? Are you working from a single site or spread across multiple locations? Have you accounted for all recently acquired facilities? And do you have remote workers using home offices or shared spaces? Don't forget, when does your financial year start and end? This can affect what you include in your reporting. Here's a little tip for this bit. Sketch out a simple map or list all of your locations. You'd be surprised how easy it is to forget those smaller offices or extra warehouses. Assigning data contributors. Now, let's talk about who's going to help make carbon accounting work. You need boots on the ground, your data contributors. Why are they important? These reps act as your eyes and ears, gathering data, spotting challenges, and keeping sustainability efforts on track. But what makes a great ESG rep? Look for people already involved in operations, facilities, or sustainability ideally. If they understand energy use, waste management, and day-to-day processes, they're perfect for the role. By empowering these reps, you're creating a collaborative network that drives real change. Thank you so much for watching this first video. To recap, map out all of your locations, you don't want to miss any. Know who you need to get involved to gather the data you need. Pick a control approach that fits your company's structure and strategy. Remember, understanding your company structure is the first and most important step in your carbon accounting journey. It might seem like a lot to take in, but once you've got this foundation down, everything gets much clearer. In the next video, we'll break down emission scopes and data collection. Thanks for watching and see you next time.